Yo, it's your boy Jay Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, episode 34. On today's episode, I will be talking about the NBA playoffs and updating y'all with those series. And then I will end the episode by talking about the NFL draft and give y'all my three biggest winners and my three biggest losers from this past weekend. But first and foremost, I just want to talk about something that's on my mind, has been on my mind for the past couple of hours. So first, I want to give a shout out to everybody that watches my show whenever I drop them. Okay, so I'm not gonna say daily because I don't drop them every day. Right, I do them twice a week. Try to do them when I can. Try to fit them within my school schedule. So I appreciate y'all that do take the time to watch me talk about sports and give my perspective on things. And I think that my perspective is different from a lot of people. That's why I came and I did this show, because I want my voice to be heard. I want to be that unique sports analyst that everybody wants to hear, kind of like the Stephen A. Smiths, the Shannon Sharps, the Skip Baylesses, etc., etc. All right, so I want to thank y'all for real for actually watching my podcast. Secondly, in public speaking, I did this speech. We did a eulogy for our final. Okay, I just did it today. We were supposed to pick a celebrity or a fictional character and do a eulogy, right? You can get creative with it. I know some people did like a $5 foot long, because it died. It's no longer available, so they did that. Some people did Vines. The Vines are like, basically Vine was TikTok before TikTok, right? So some people did that. But I chose to do Tupac, okay? And one thing about the eulogy was you were supposed to tell it as if you was that person's friend, or if you knew that person or that thing or whatever it was. And throughout the speech, I talked about how Tupac made music for women. Okay, Tupac had a love for women, and it wasn't in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? When some people say, "Oh, he loved him some women," it means basically like sexual and just a negative way. But Tupac had a love for women that I think was kind of overlooked. I mean, Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up was two songs that was his biggest songs, and it was about women, right? Dear Mama was about his mama, but I think a lot of mothers and a lot of kids that had mothers that went through this situation could relate to the song, right? He talked about his mom being single on welfare, taking care of two kids. A lot of people, a lot of women were single, taking care of two kids on welfare, right? And a lot of kids grew up with parents or with a mother that was single and living off of welfare. So he did that for mothers, and then he did Keep Your Head Up, talked about women. Why do we rape them? Why do we hate them? We need to kill for them. Time to heal our women, right? And if we don't, have a race of babies that, y'all know the lyrics, all right? But basically, he uses his platform to give a shout out to women, and I want to do the same thing. I want to actually use my platform to talk about women sometimes, because I feel like women are basically a minority in America, right? Y'all are overlooked. Y'all are whether it is that they're paying men more than they pay women, right? Their men is getting more jobs than women, right? Y'all are being mistreated, mishandled. Y'all are being viewed in the wrong ways. Y'all being sexualized in songs. I do want to let y'all know that I see y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I got nothing but love for y'all, okay? Because y'all are really the foundation of the world. Because guess what? Where did I come from? Came from a woman. Where did you come from? You came from a woman. So I do want to give a shout out to women and just let y'all know that I'm, like Tupac said, if nobody else care, he does. If nobody else care, I do. All right, so that's my little shout out to women. But without further ado, let me go ahead and say my normal. I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without Him, I would not be here right now. All right. So let's get straight to the point. NBA playoffs. Okay, the Lakers took care of the Grizzlies this past weekend. I did put a little video on my Instagram for those of y'all that saw it. After the Grizzlies lost by 40 points, the Lakers did end up meeting up with the Warriors this round, okay, and leading up to this game yesterday. So before the game yesterday, I did say that I'm taking the Lakers in 6, okay. I'm hoping that it doesn't go 7, right? Because if it goes 7 back in Golden State, that might be a problem for my Lakers. But I do think we can win this game in 7. And I think yesterday showed that we can really win this series in 7. And I think yesterday showed that we can actually win this series in 6 games, all right, in 6 games. Anthony Davis, so yesterday the Lakers beat the Warriors 117-112. One thing that I'm telling people that I know and people that I'm close with is that we are not the Kings. Okay, we're not gonna let you just come out there and get what you want. We're not like that. We have two stars. The Kings have a star and a half. Okay, Sabonis really didn't show up in the playoffs, but Fox did. The Kings are not defensively sound like the Lakers are. Okay, the Kings are not as deep to me as the Lakers are. So I kept telling people, look, we got something for the Warriors. We are not the Kings, and yesterday proved it. The Lakers beat the Warriors 117-112, and the series, of course, the Lakers are up 1-0. And one thing that I also said, I want to make sure I say it, is I respect the Warriors. Unlike people that was picking the Kings to win the last series, I actually respect the Warriors. So I know there's a possibility that they can win this series, and I'm okay with that because of who the Warriors are. Okay, they are a dynasty. They are the definition of greatness, really. And I feel like people kind of overlook that because what do? We see something new, we like it, and we want to just see it win. The Kings were new this year, right? Y'all bet on, some people was betting on a Kings team that had one good regular season over a Warriors team that has had a good last 8-9 years, right? People, come on now, we gotta wake up, give them the respect that they deserve, and I'm giving the Warriors the respect they deserve. They could really win this series. I really think it's what's what, and it's not necessarily evenly matched. I think the Knicks and the Heat are evenly matched because they're two teams that literally you can't say who's better. But the Warriors and the Lakers are evenly matched, but they're better at different things. And yesterday showed it. Anthony Davis, y'all. This version of Anthony Davis is a top five Anthony Davis. Is a top five player in the NBA. Okay, this version of AD is a top five player in the NBA. Hands down, no questions asked. I said a couple episodes ago that it's hard to argue for the man when he plays so inconsistent. But when he comes out and plays like this, it makes my argument look pretty good. Okay, 30 points, 23 rebounds, 4 blocks. I told y'all he's going to give it to you on the defensive end, but whether he wants to bring you on the offensive end is really up to him. Nobody on the Warriors can really guard Anthony Davis. Either they're too small, like Draymond Green, or they're too slow, like Kevin Looney. Sorry. So, I mean, AD should really take care of business this series. There's no reason why he can't average around 20 rebounds, why he can't average around 30 points, right? But I'm not going to get my hopes up because I know next game he can come out there and give us 12. That's just how he operates. But games like this, we need to go ahead and give him his flowers because he has this ability to do this. The consistency is the problem. LeBron James had 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So he was also good on the defensive end. He got 11 boards and then scored 22 points. One problem I have with LeBron, the only problem I have with LeBron, is that right now his shots are not falling. Right now he cannot make a three to save his life. Right now he cannot throw a rock in the ocean. Okay, LeBron, do what you normally do, what you grew up doing. Do what you made yourself famous doing, which is driving to the basket. Okay, the three ball came later in his career. Go back to your roots and drive to the basket because good things happen. When you go 1 for 8 in a game from three, you're low-key hurting your team because guess what? Every time you miss that three ball, you're giving the ball right back to the Warriors who can go and make a three ball, okay? So I need LeBron to stop shooting threes and get to the rim. Steph Curry had 27 points, not the best shooting night. He went 10 for 24, 6 for 13 from the three-point line. Klay Thompson had 25 points, 9 for 25 from the field, and then 6 from 16 for the three-point line. So I'm not expecting them to shoot. It wasn't a terrible night, right, but it wasn't their best. So I'm not expecting them to have another off-night shooting like this. That's why the Lakers luckily got away with this one, with this steal on the road. And then Jordan Poole came off the bench and gave him 21 points. Jordan Poole was just we couldn't find him in the first round, right? Against the Kings, he just was not there. But he came in and he showed that his presence will be felt in this series, and I'm okay with that. As long as we, right, as a unit can continue to play high-level defense, we can make it hard for them. The Warriors, these are the two stats that I think kind of won and lost the game for the Warriors and the Lakers. Well, free throw wise, okay, the Warriors only shot 6 free throws the whole game. Okay, for those of y'all that know, free throws, you shouldn't only be shooting 6 free throws. It's a very small amount for a 48-minute game. All right. And the Lakers shot 25 for 29 from the free throw line. They shot 29 free throws compared to 6 free throws. So you gave us 29 easy baskets, free throws, they're free, versus your 6 free throws. So that made it a lot easier for the Lakers. The Lakers only committed 12 fouls. versus the Warriors committed 24 fouls. All right, so that's one thing the Warriors got to clean up is their the amount of times that they're fouling us, because that just shows that we are the more aggressive team, that we are actually going at them versus them coming at us, because they're a 3-point team that's settling for threes. That kind of leads to that only 6 free throw opportunity versus we are driving to the basket, we are getting the ball inside. That's why we're shooting 29 free throws. And then another thing, the points in the paint. The Warriors had 28 points in the paint. The Lakers had 54. All right, so that's a big difference when it comes to points in the paint. That's what, 26. So I think that's how we beat them yesterday. We out physical. No, we was just out physical. We just was aggressive. We was the aggressive team. We enforced our will on them. Right, we was praying they missed a couple shots here and there, which they did. And when they don't have their best shooting night and they're getting outplayed in the paint, they're not going to win that game. So I think the Lakers did a great job yesterday, not only defensively, but offensively, getting the ball to the rack and getting to the free throw line. All right, so the Lakers are 1-0 in this series. I was actually shocked. I picked the Warriors to win game 1. I thought they would definitely win game 1, but now the Lakers win game 1. It kind of makes me think, how will this series play out? Because I really thought the Lakers would win game 2. But we will see how that goes. Their next game is tomorrow night. The Nuggets and the Suns, y'all. This is a series. I didn't get a chance to talk about it before game 1. But going into this series, I really sat back and thought to myself, this is a series of who is real. Who is real? The Nuggets have been the number 1 seed almost all year, and nobody thinks that they're real enough to get to the finals. The Suns, you add Kevin Durant, so everybody's like, you know what? Are y'all real, or is the problem that y'all been having going to stop y'all from getting to the finals? The problem I've been talking about, y'all amount of depth, right? Y'all starters playing 40 plus minutes a game. Okay, so really both these teams are trying to prove that they can get through that struggle to get to the next round. But this really hasn't been much of a series, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Okay, Jokic, Nikola Jokic, who is 2-time MVP. Had 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Nuggets beat the Suns 97-87. Jokic had 36 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists. DeAndre Ayton, okay, the big man for the Phoenix Suns, 7 foot tall. In this whole series, so in the 2 games they played, he only has 15 rebounds. Jokic had 16 rebounds in game 2 alone. Right? DeAndre Ayton has to be present. He has to show some kind of dominance in the paint for this team to be successful. And right now, he's just getting bullied by Nikola Jokic. For the Suns, though, and mind you, that game, Jamal Murray played terrible. Okay, at one point, he was like 1 for 10 from the field. He cannot buy a bucket. Devin Booker, though, had 35 points and 6 assists. He played 45 minutes. Kevin Durant had 24 points, 8 rebounds. He played 44 minutes. A couple episodes ago, I told y'all these two are the highest. They have the most amount of minutes in the NBA for the playoffs. Those 2 players that's on the same team, right? That is just absolutely crazy. That's why I said this team is going to struggle, because not only is it going to hurt them down the stretch, right? If let's just say they get past this series, they're going to be dog tired by the time they get to the conference finals. But it hurts you in games. When you get in that fourth quarter, in this game, the Phoenix Suns was up. They was winning in the fourth quarter, but they let the lead go because they're tired. And I think that Devin Booker and KD, they just can't play these heavy minutes like they think they can, like Monty Williams think they can. The game was won and lost because the Suns, they don't have a bench. This is the part of me saying they don't have depth. Okay, the Suns had 4 points off the bench, only 4. Right, their stars, like I said, the 2 star players had 35 and 24 points between KD and Devin Booker, but the bench only gave you 4 points. That's not going to help you. The Nuggets bench gave you 13. Okay, so you got outscored by the bench by what? Let me see, 9 points, and you lost by 10. So it could have been a very close game, a different game, if your bench would have gave you a little more presence than it did. And then I think the Suns not getting to the free throw line, kind of like the Warriors did in the last game. The Suns only shot 5 free throws. They went 5 for 5, but they only shot 5. The Nuggets shot 21 free throws. They went 18 for 21. So that's just showing you who's being aggressive, who's trying to get to the rack, versus the Suns settling for jumpers by Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And then points in the paint, the Nuggets had 48, the Suns had 30. So they're just getting bullied basically by the Nuggets at this point, especially DeAndre Ayton, who is not showing any kind of presence on the field. Like some people say, he just out there getting cardio. He just out there running back and forth. He's not making any impact on the game in places that he should, like rebounding. Another thing that happened in this game was Chris Paul pulled his groin. Okay, I think if we're growing, he probably not even gonna play the next 2 games at least. He might be out longer than that. So they lost their really, it used to be their floor general, but Devin Booker has the ball more than Chris Paul now. So really, Chris Paul still plays a big role in this team, but he's not really the floor general anymore. So I can't say they're losing their floor general, but they're losing an important piece to this championship roster. So without Chris Paul, what's going to happen next? They're down 2-0. You have to win game 3. I don't know. It's not looking too good for the Suns, all right? The Nuggets are up 2-0 in that series. The Sixers, okay, 76ers and the Celtics. This was a matchup that I wanted to see in the Eastern Conference Finals, but unfortunately it happened in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The 76ers did beat the Celtics 119 to 115 the other night. And the Sixers are up 1-0 in the series. That night we had a flashback. We saw the James Harden of old. We saw the James Harden from Houston. We all know Joel Embiid did not play, so James Harden just had to carry the team. He scored 45 points with 6 assists. That is James Harden from Houston. Okay, I have not seen that James Harden in Philly yet, but we saw it that night because, of course, Joel was not there. Tyrese Maxey had 26 points. Tobias Harris had 18 points. So they had a good night offensively. And D'Anthony Melton off the bench had 17 points. Okay, so when you're getting that kind of scoring from the team, it's very hard to lose. And then the Celtics, Jason Tatum had 39 points with 11 rebounds. Jaylen Brown has 23 points, but he only shot the ball 3 times in the second half. He has to get more shots up. Simple as that. I know Jason Tatum is the number 1 option, but your number 2 has to join the party. And 3 shots in the second half is not going to work. So Jaylen Brown, you got to get more shots up next game. The points in the paint, this Celtics scored 66 points in the paint compared to the Sixers 42. All right, and rebounds, the Celtics out-rebounded the Sixers 38-28. How did they lose that game, right? That's a question that I'm still asking. I don't even know the answer to it. The only answer I can say is James Harden, okay? He's the best player on the court, made the last 3 to seal the game. He was just that guy that night, and he outplayed Jason Tatum. And when that happens, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that game. So that game, all the credit really goes to James Harden because the Celtics won statistically, but they did not win in the scoring box because James Harden went crazy. Had a flashback, went back to Houston James Harden, and gave them 45 points. Now, my only problem with this series, I did pick the Celtics to come out the East. All right, I do think the Celtics are just a deeper team, but that game scares me because the 76ers going into that game, they knew, look, okay, we might not win game 1. We're just waiting on our best player to get back, right? Because they don't have to win game 1. Really, game 1, the home team should go ahead and take that, especially when the 76ers' best player is not there. But now that they've won that game without Joel, the Celtics have to win tonight. They have to. Because they don't, then you're down 2-0, you're down 0-2 going back to Philly. My only problem with the 76ers is Joel Embiid plans on playing tonight. I suggest that he does not play tonight. I suggest that you rest him and you make sure that he's ready for game 3. Because let's just say, for the sake of argument, he comes back tonight and re-injures his knee, or just does more damage to the knee. Then you're gonna be in trouble, right? Versus the fact that y'all won the first game on the road. Nobody expected y'all to come in there and get the win in game 1 without Joel, but y'all did. So now y'all are really y'all are in control right now. Y'all are in control, so I feel like y'all should just sit Joel out this next game. Because you've proven that you can beat the Celtics without Joel in Boston. So I feel like y'all should just sit Joel out this game, make sure he's 100% healthy, and then bring him back game 3. But they plan on bringing him back tonight. But the Celtics is still in trouble because they have to win this game. Because they go down 0-2, and it's going to be trouble in Boston, all right? So the 76ers are up 1-0 in that series. Next, those are the only basketball series I want to talk about. Miami Heat and the Knicks is tied 1-1. I really didn't want to get into that one. I want to talk about these 3. But the last thing I'm going to talk about today is the NFL draft, okay? The NFL draft, I'm not going to go into depth with every single team. I'm just giving y'all my 3 winners and my 3 losers, all right? And once again, these are my 3 winners and my 3 losers. Please voice your opinion in the comments, right? But just listen to where I'm coming from with these picks. I think the obvious winner, number 1 winner, is the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles went and got Jalen Carter with the 9th pick, Nolan Smith with the 30th pick. Jalen Carter, D tackle from Georgia. Nolan Smith, outside linebacker from Georgia. These two guys are going to help that front seven. What happened in the Super Bowl? In the Super Bowl, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts played out of his mind, but the defense could not get pressure on Mahomes. The defense cannot contain Isaiah Pacheco, the running back for the Chiefs. So what do? You go and you add young ballers, really. Both of these players are really good. You add them to your front seven, that's going to help. And they already have Fletcher Cox. They already have Jordan Davis. They already have Hassan Reddick. All they're doing is upgrading that because they need presence in clutch time moments like in the Super Bowl. Mahomes basically was untouched that whole game. Mahomes was able to drop back and do whatever he wanted to do because there was no pressure. So what they do, they went and they got pressure with Jalen Carter, who honestly might be the best player in the draft, and Nolan Smith, who was one of the top edge rushers coming out of this year's draft. So I love this for the Eagles. I told y'all coming into this draft, they have 2 picks in the first round. People have to remember that. They traded up to number 9. They had 10. They traded up to number 9 to get Jalen Carter. And then they took the 30th pick that they originally had, and they got Nolan Smith. So I love those 2 picks for the Eagles. The Texans. All right, the Texans, look, I love what y'all did. Y'all got the 2 most important positions to me. There's 2 positions that you have to be successful in the NFL, in my opinion. A quarterback, for sure. You have to have somebody that can run the show. But secondly, you got to have an edge rusher. Teams with edge rushers, they are basically they are blessed because guess what? I have a player that can come and just disrupt the game anytime, right? I have somebody that can come in and just take over the game. Look at the TJ Watts, the Von Millers, okay, the Michael Parsons. Look at the Brian Burns, the Chase Young, the Nick Bosa's, right? Look at these players and look at how they impact games. When you can get a good edge rusher, you're in business. The Texans went and got Will Anderson with the 3rd pick, and then they got C.J. Stroud, of course, with the 2nd pick. C.J. Stroud, that's the QB of the future. The only concern I have with C.J. Stroud is that he doesn't have a number 1 receiver that he can just sit back and say, okay, go get it. I'm going to throw it up to you, make a play. But that this honestly is a benefit for him because guess what? Now he really has to go through his reads. Now C.J. Stroud is going to learn how to go from left to right on the field whenever I'm reading the defense. He has to learn how to go from his first option to his second option to his third option. He has to learn that because he doesn't have just a baller at receiver. So really, his receivers have to get schemed open. He has to throw them open, and I think that'll make him a better player versus having just a number 1 receiver to throw the ball up to. So I like that situation, but it kind of concerns me because he doesn't have that safety blanket. All right. But then Will Anderson, like I said, you bring in the edge rusher to your defense, and edge rusher I feel like is a position that doesn't have to learn much. Come in the NFL, you do what you did in college. Go get the quarterback. Okay, Will Anderson was good at it in college, so I believe he can translate that to the NFL. Y'all got y'all edge rusher, y'all got y'all quarterback. Now, Texan fans, don't get too ahead of yourselves. Some of y'all texting me Super Bowl. No, some of y'all saying we're back. Not yet. I give y'all 2 to 3 years, and y'all be in the conversation for the playoffs. This year, I'm looking at like a 7-win season, all right? Then next 2 years, around 8, 9-win seasons. Y'all still missing the playoffs, but that 3rd year, that 4th year, y'all might be talking about making a playoff run. All right, so congratulations, Houston. Y'all will be back in a couple years, not right now. But these are good steps. You got to crawl before you can walk, right? So these are good first steps to take before you try and get to the promised land. I got to go with the 3rd winner. And I feel like on this show, I don't talk about my team enough. And I don't talk about my team a lot because I don't want nobody to say, oh my God, you always talk about the Steelers. Oh my God, you always talk about your favorite team. You overhyping them. I don't want to hear that. Cause that's why I don't talk about them. But today, I'm going to talk about it. What we did was we drafted Broderick Jones, the right tackle from Georgia. I'm sorry, the left tackle from Georgia, okay? What we did this offseason was we boosted the O-line up. We got an O-lineman from the Eagles that's pretty good. We got an O-lineman from Georgia, right, the left tackle. And I think this is going to help not only Kenny Pickett, right? Kenny Pickett to stay upright because he has concussion history. He had like 2 concussions last year, I think. So this is going to help him not only with health, but just help him be able to read the field, see the field. And this is going to help Najee Harris, right? Najee Harris was the top running back coming out of Alabama a couple of years ago. He had 2 good years, but it was quiet years. It wasn't big, like, everybody noticed it kind of years. It was quiet years. But when you keep adding old linemen like Broderick Jones, who's a great run blocker, I believe that Najee Harris can be a top 5 running back this year. So I love that move for us. And not only that, but we got Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia as well, who is a great blocking tight end. So we're trying to get back to running the ball and playing off the play action, which I love for my team. And then tied for third, I have to go with the Raiders. The Raiders understood the assignment. The assignment in the NFL is to get edge rushers. I tell y'all, edge rushers and quarterbacks to me is equal. I believe if you have a pass rush, you have a chance to win any kind of game. Look at the Steelers, for instance. Our pass rush has carried us for the past 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, with T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Bud Dupree once upon a time, Alex Highsmith now. Okay, our pass rush has carried us. What the Raiders just did was they added Tyree Wilson, okay, also edge rusher from Texas Tech, sorry, with Max Crosby, who's already a good edge rusher. When you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and whatever's left of Russell Wilson, this is what you need. You need pass rushers. You need people that can get to the quarterback. They tried to get Chandler Jones last year, right? But Chandler Jones just didn't work out. Okay, he's washed. He's old. He needs to go ahead and hang it up. So you get Tyree Wilson, one of the top edge rushers in the draft. You add him with Max Crosby. Now the Raiders are talking about something on the defensive side. I don't like the offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll talk about that more towards the season. But I do think Tyree Wilson and Max Crosby can make life living hell for these quarterbacks in the AFC West, all right? So I do love that move for the Raiders. My losers for the draft, number one, I got to go with the Lions. The Lions' defense was horrendous last year. It was terrible, especially in the secondary. Okay, and they did fix this pick by going to get Brian Brandt, safety from Alabama, in the second round, I believe. But they went and they got a running back with the 12th pick. Mind you, at the time when they got Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. Running back from Alabama, right? I'm not saying he's a bad player. But when you in the draft, you address needs. They didn't need a running back. At the time, they had Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift. Then they drafted another running back. Why would you do that? Now, they did just recently trade DeAndre Swift to the Eagles. Eagles, once again, great move. But at the time, you drafted a third running back. Maybe they knew they was trading DeAndre Swift, but I feel like there was more needs than running back. I feel like you needed defense. Anything on defense would have helped y'all, because the only thing on defense that y'all do have is Aiden Hutchinson. So y'all need to surround him with some ballers to make his job a lot easier. So I do think that pick was just no bueno. It wasn't good because you took a running back with a 12th pick and it was not a need. Speaking of running backs, my number 2 loser is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons had the audacity to draft Bijan Robinson at number 8 when they already had a 2 running back system that worked to the T last year. Cordell Patterson was one of the best players on the offense because he could run it as well as catch it. And then Tyler Algier, a rookie from last year, just had a 1,000-yard season. Why are we drafting a running back at number 8 when you just had a running back to go for 1,000 yards a year before? I don't understand it. I think, honestly, it should be the first loser because that was a terrible pick. Now, Bijan's going to be a dog. He's going to be a monster. He's going to help this team. But this team is still behind because guess what? The defense is what's been the problem. The defense hasn't been the same since they went to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan and them. So you passed up on Jalen Carter to go and get Bijan Robinson. I don't like it. I don't like this move. Yes, Bijan's going to have a great year. He might win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But at the same time, I do think you already had 2 running backs. Tyler Algier, a rookie from last year, on off a 1,000-yard season. And you can replace him with the best running back in this draft. I don't like it. Y'all had your priorities mixed up. And Atlanta took an L with that pick. The Seahawks. The only reason I have the Seahawks up here, and it's a Seahawks fan that is going to say something in the comments. He's going to DM me. He's going to text me. He's going to say, Jalen, you tripping. But listen, the only reason why I have y'all as a loser is because I think y'all could have went a different route with y'all's first pick. Okay, with the 5th pick, they got Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois. He's a good corner. I think he will be a great corner. But you already have Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen just had a great season last year, and he's y'all's rookie corner. I think y'all could have went with a pass rusher at this pick. Y'all could have went with Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. I think y'all need that dog on the D-line that y'all just don't have right now. And I think y'all could have did that by getting a pass rusher. Devon Witherspoon's going to work out fine. I just put y'all as a loser because I think y'all should have went pass rusher versus trying to stack the secondary when you don't have a pass rush. I told y'all on this show, the most important position is edge rusher and quarterback. I think it's tied because a pass rush means everything. If you can't rush the passer, then guess what? The quarterback gonna sit back and just torch you, especially in a league where quarterbacks are just great right now. Where you have a lot of elite quarterbacks in the league today who likes to air it out a lot. Pass rush is the best way to defend that. And right now, the Seahawks don't have that guy. They might have a unit, but they don't have that guy. And I think they passed up on him when they didn't get, when they did not get Tyree Wilson. All right, from Texas Tech. But that is it for today. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have another episode this week. I'm gonna try to work around my finals and everything to try and get y'all another episode and update y'all with the playoffs, of course. And I might even start talking about my early season predictions. Maybe not because it's a little too early for the NFL, but we'll figure it out. But once again, shout out to the women out there. Any woman that's watching this, just know that look, Jay best care about y'all for real, because y'all are, to me, the foundation of the world, because y'all give birth to us. Y'all are just special. All right, just let y'all know that. All right, but much love. Y'all stay safe, and I'm out.